Are we ready then?
Okay.
I call to order this meeting of the Brookings City Council for Monday, June 8th, 2026 at 5:31 p.m. If you're able, will you please rise for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Will you please call the roll?
Councilor Walker.
Here.
Councilor Jalata.
Yes, here.
Councilor Martin.
Here.
Councilor Fulton. Here. Mayor Pereira.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Moving on to ceremonies, appointments, and announcements. Tonight we have a proclamation from the City of Brookings. Whereas strengthening the unity of the United States of America is vital, and there is a need to strengthen the American heart of emblem, the beliefs of each individual and each club, and whereas in these interests, it seems appropriate at this time to restate our citizen principles by pledging to bear true allegiance to the Constitution of the United States of America and to the flag, which is the emblem of our country. And whereas, in keeping with our pledge, the Supreme Emblem Club of the United States of America has adopted the flag of our country as our order's emblem and the name emblem by which our organization is known throughout the land. And whereas we are citizens dedicated to the belief that the United States shall be sustained, persevered, and perpetuated, and whereas in keeping with our principles, it seems obligatory that we act to more forcefully display these beliefs, that each club create an Americanism committee and originate and participate with others in patriotic community endeavors, that each emblem member complete a patriotic deed each day and engage in assisting the Americanism program of the Benevolent and Protective Order of the Elks on every occasion where we are invited to participate, and that each club and club member actively work to fulfill our dedicated purpose of bearing true allegiance to the Constitution and flag of the United States of America. Now, therefore, be it resolved, I, Phoebe Pereira, Mayor of the City of Brookings, do hereby proclaim the week of June 8th through June 15th, 2026 as Supreme Americanism Week. In witness hereof, I, Mayor Phoebe Pereira, do hereto set my hand and cause the official seal of the City of Brookings, Oregon, to be affixed this 8th day of June, 2026. If you would like to come up to the podium and say a few words, please, you're welcome.
I'm Carol Swain, Americanism Chairman for Brookings Emblem Club. And it is also fitting this week that on the 14th is Flag Day, and at 1 o'clock at the Elks, we're having a Flag Day ceremony, and the public is invited to attend. Thank you.
Thank you.
If we can have
We'll have a photo by the flag.
Would one of you like to hold this, or would you Okay.
We got a couple different ones.
I'll get on the other side.
Yes. Yes.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. All right, I'm gonna take it. So you get on our
I'm gonna do it.
1, 2, 3. All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Nice meeting you.
You too. Oh, gosh. Yeah, it's a little chilly.
Okay, next we have item E, oral requests and communications from the audience. Did we have any more come in? Just this one. Okay. Before we begin, I'll read the script regarding public comments. This is the time for public comment if you have turned in the public comment form to the city recorder. Comments are limited to 5 minutes. This isn't a time for discussion. Council is not able to provide immediate answer or response. The city manager may direct staff to follow up with you regarding your comment or question if you have provided contact information on the form. Before you make your comment, please state your name and your address for the record. We have one public comment here from Mike Frederick in regards to TLT funding.
Mike Frederick, 16883 Yellow Brick Road, Brookings. Counselors, manager, usually I like to come up here and just talk, but I didn't want to forget anything, so I wrote it down this time. Tonight I'm asking the council to kick in more money from the unspent transient lodging tax funds for the film festival. It's a growing event, nearly doubling film submissions each year since it started. This is the type of event that could help put Brookings on the map. It's an event that has wheels and needs to be supported. Last year they requested $3,000, they only received $2,000. This year they only requested $2,000 because that's what the form said. However, there is no set official limit in any code or ordinance, at least that I'm aware of. Someone could correct me on that. And there are other events receiving $5,000 plus sometimes. I would like to see you give them $5,000 like those other events, but at least give them the $3,000. If you agree with either of these or not, let's get it on the agenda for the 22nd and get it done. The city has been sitting on TLT money for years. This means that not only have businesses in this town not gotten the benefit of those dollars that are legally obligated to be spent to promote tourism, but also have not been able to have the benefit of the compounded year-over-year increases in business. On top of that, the city and said businesses have not benefited from the local multiplier effect, having those dollars flow throughout the community over and over. To add to that, or in this case subtract, now those depreciated dollars with less spending power, hence less economic impact or benefit, which of course means less promotion per dollar when spent today. It's great that the TPAC 2.0 is finally getting close to existence, but this season will be gone before submissions, analysis, approval, and disbursements will be able to have an impact. So again, TPAC dollars will be more depreciated by the time they're spent. The city, meaning the city council for tonight, needs to turn on the spigot and get economic benefit flowing now. This is the right thing to do and a great productive step for the council to take. And you could proactively just put that on the agenda for next time, do it yourself without someone else coming and asking for it. I will inform them that that will be available, but I want to reiterate a point with any of these dollars that haven't been spent and have been sat on. Just looking at inflation from 2020 to 2026, we've lost a ton of spending, and then reducing what used to be a $3,000 limit, and I know that because we more than once got $3,000 for an event when we were doing big events, down to $2,000 plus inflation. Now people are looking at spending less than 53%. What the city gives them as an incentive is less than 53% of the incentive they used to put out there, and it's just not an incentive. But hopefully the TPAC thing will have some impact and some freedom to do some things, but I don't see any reason why the council can't take it up themselves to proactively get out there. The fiscal year's ending at the end of the month. Let's get that money out there and being utilized. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to item F, consent calendar. Are there any comments or changes to the minutes? Do I have a motion?
I'll move to approve the consent calendar.
My second motion.
Call the question?
Counselor Martin?
Yes.
Counselor Fulton?
Yes.
Counselor Delgado?
Yes.
Counselor Lomberg?
Yep.
Mayor Pareda?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Moving on to item G1, crosswalk maintenance agreement with ODOT. The staff report?
Thank you, Mayor Pareda, members of the council. What you have in front of you is authorization for the city manager to enter into an agreement with Oregon Department of Transportation for sidewalk maintenance. We had a previous agreement that expired in 2025, and they're renewing it for another 20 years. Again, this is a 20-year agreement. The last agreement didn't have a dollar amount, and when I inquired about that, they said that all the new agreements have to have some kind of dollar amount, so they're estimating the cost over 20 years to be $46,400. And I clarified that even further and asked if that's something that we were going to be billed, and they said no. It's essentially what it is when we need the materials to do the work, then they'll bill us for them. So I think that's a high number, unless those crosswalk materials increase to $400 instead of $80 a year, but it's not something that we do annually. We do them as needed. So again, the agreement it's really just sort of memorializing the fact that the city is responsible for crosswalk maintenance on city streets that intersect 101. And that the graphic that is attached, Exhibit A, lists those streets. And then it also lists what ODOT will maintain, which is just 6 of them, but there are 23 for the city on the city's list. And then I also I added a photo just to give you an example of what that looks like. And in this photo, you see Fern Avenue. There's a little bit of wear on one of those. Now, these have been there for several years, so I don't think it's an annual thing that's required, even though they're claiming it to be. I think this crosswalk is probably 10 years old. So anyway, with that, again, I think it's just, like I say, it's just kind of tidying up and having an agreement in place, just like the last one. So if you have any questions.
Any questions, comments?
And I assume it's just averaged out to 80 a year. It's probably twice in the 20-year.
Yeah, I mean, $80 per crosswalk, so $80 times 23 every year. So you could do the math on that. It's
1,600 something, yeah.
Yeah, it gets fairly close to it. But again, we haven't, at least in the last 20 years, replaced those at that pace.
Right.
So
And
that
this
says anything.
just works the similar way that it has over the last 20 years
Yeah.
up to this point.
And if we didn't enter into this agreement with them, the city would be responsible for maintaining those. So this is essentially just asking them to do that when they come through and do the maintenance of the other crosswalks, to carry the ones that are our responsibility at a cost.
Right, and I did ask that question if we didn't sign the agreement, and I didn't get an answer. So what they did say, though, is you need permission to work in the state right-of-way, and these crosswalks are in the state right-of-way. So we need the agreement to do the work.
But we're responsible to do the work.
Yeah. We're responsible for contracting them. If we were to buy the materials directly from them, that's what the $80 represents.
Any more questions? Is there a motion?
I move to authorize the city manager to execute an intergovernmental agreement with the Oregon Department of Transportation for crosswalk maintenance on US 101 in the city of Brookings.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Call the question?
Councilor Fulton?
Yes.
Councilor Gelada?
Yes.
Councilor Mulford?
Yes.
Councilor Pareda?
Yes. May. Yes.
Mayor Pareda? Councilor Martin?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Moving on to non-informational or informational non-action items, H. Are there any comments or questions there? Okay. With no actions, we will move on to item I, remarks from city manager, councilors, and mayor.
I'd like to, I'm glad to see that we're getting these agreements going with ODOT, but I'd like to see, and I had mentioned it to city manager, that I'd like to see the city advocate for, more city input into ODOT projects that impact our city. Seems like sometimes we kind of hear about these projects as they're happening, maybe without a whole lot of input from the city. It directly impacts our citizens and how we operate our streets. So I believe the city has a great deal of influence, has the potential to have a great deal of influence on providing input on how some of these projects move forward. So I'd like to advocate for that.
I wanted to thank Mike for coming tonight to talk about TPAC and TLT funding and advocate for additional city tourism, hotel tax money for events and promotion. And I agree with him that a lot of these events could be more successful if the city invested more money in promoting them and helping the events get off the ground. So I hope that we can, that the film festival will make the request for the additional money, but also that the city will make more funds available from our tourism promotion money and event promotion to help that event be as successful as it can. And one of the things that Mike said was turn on the spigot. The city collects motel tax for tourism promotion, and we are fortunate that we have some businesses and some community members that want to be involved in creating events, and I think we need to empower them and find ways for them to be successful and not just put a bunch of red tape and restrictions on what's happening. Obviously, we need to make sure that motel tax money is used wisely and responsibly, but we want to empower these groups to be successful when they have ideas to bring people to the community that benefits everybody. I appreciate Mike coming. He's very knowledgeable about tourism promotion. I think he's going to, I hope that he becomes a member of TPAC, but people like Mike who are passionate about event and tourism promotion are a big asset to our city.
Councilor Gelada?
No comments.
Sure, absolutely. Mayor Pareda, Councilors Martin, Malmberg, and Gelada, City Manager Rundle, department leads, city employees, and citizens of Brookings. It is with a full and grateful heart that I am here tonight to share that I am resigning from my position on the City Council as I prepare to move closer to my family. It's not an easy decision. Serving this community has been one of the greatest privileges and honor of my life. After a 33-year career in education and 32 right here in Brookings, I've always been guided by a desire to serve others, to listen, to help where I can, and leave things better than when I found them. Whether in the classroom, the counseling office, or the City Council, that commitment to service has remained constant. When the opportunity came to join the council, I felt strongly in my heart that this was where I was being called to serve. What began as an opportunity quickly became a responsibility that I deeply cherish. I still remember those first few weeks, as many of us up here on this council do. They're humbling, they're overwhelming, and honestly, it was all a bit of a blur. There was so much to learn and so much responsibility to carry. Yet throughout the process, I was surrounded by people who believed in me and encouraged me to do so. I'm especially thankful to Andy Martin and Isaac Hodges, who served first as counselor and then Hodges later as mayor, for seeing something in me and just giving me a shot, an opportunity to serve the community in this capacity. So thank you, Andy. I also want to recognize my husband, who has been my greatest earthly support and constant source of encouragement. Alongside my faith in the Lord, he has been my rock throughout this journey, and serving on the council requires far more time, energy, and sacrifice than most people realize. Definitely more than I realized. It impacts family, friendships, church involvement, and personal time. Those sacrifices are shared not only by council members, but also by those who support them behind the scenes. That is why I encourage every citizen to take a moment to thank your elected officials. Send an email, make a phone call, stop them on the street, let them know that they are appreciated. Public service is not always easy, but it's important work, and those who undertake it deserve our gratitude and respect. To the citizens of Brookings, thank you. Thank you for the emails, phone calls, conversations, and moments of connection. Thank you for sharing your concerns, your ideas, your frustrations, and your hopes. Every conversation reminds me why public service matters. Government works best when it listens, and I have learned so much from the people of this community. There is one memory that captures what makes Brookings so special. During last year's Azalea Festival, I was riding in the back of a truck with then Councilmember Pareda and Mayor Isaac Hodges. As we made our way through town, I looked out over the crowd, and at first, I was just seeing growth and the energy and the excitement of the event, but then I noticed something deeper. I saw neighbors meeting together. I saw former students returning home and reconnecting with friends and family. I saw people helping one another without being asked. I saw countless small acts of kindness that many would just overlook. And then I thought about our families and our community facing difficult circumstances and the way neighbors immediately, they just stepped forward with meals, prayers, support, encouragement. More recently, we've seen that same outpouring of spirit and support for our officer, Gabby, during her recovery. People came together to help, small ways, large ways, simply because someone did. That is the heart of Brookings. People do not step forward because they have to. They step forward because that is who they are here. In that moment, I realized something really important. Brookings is not just a growing city of population. It's growing in compassion, generosity, and community spirit. It is becoming stronger because people continue to show up for one another. I've witnessed that same spirit through community events like the revitalizing of the tree lighting ceremony. People gather not merely to celebrate, but to connect, reflect, and express gratitude. Those things and those traditions matter because they remind us of who we are as a community and what we value. I thank God every day for the gift of life, for the opportunity to serve others, and for placing me in this community during this season of my life. My faith has shaped who I am, has guided my heart, and influenced the way I approach every decision that I have made. While no decision is ever perfect, I have always tried to serve with integrity and humility and a sincere desire to do what is best for the citizens of Brookings. As a parent of 4 children and an educator who has had the privilege of impacting thousands of young lives, service has always been central to my purpose. My hope is, in that some small way, I've contributed to the continued growth and success of this city and helped strengthen a community that people are proud to call home. To our city employees, thank you. Your dedication, your professionalism, and commitment are a foundation on which the city operates every single day. Whether serving in public safety, parks and recreation, finance, administration, public works, utilities, or countless other roles, your efforts often go unseen, but I can tell you they don't go unnoticed. Because of you, our community is safer, stronger, more beautiful, and better prepared for the future. I'd also like to personally thank City Manager Tim Rundle. Tim, I've appreciated our conversations, your willingness to listen, and your commitment to taking action when action was needed. Effective leadership is not about titles, it's about serving others, building trust, and helping people succeed. Thank you for your leadership and dedication to this city. And last but not least, as I leave, I do leave with tremendous gratitude and optimism. Brookings has an incredibly bright future ahead. These people are showing you that each and every day. We might not all agree on everything, but we are all here for the same purpose of making Brookings the best that we can make Brookings. I have confidence in the leadership of this city, confidence in its employees, and most importantly, confidence in the people. The challenges ahead will be met with the same resilience, compassion, and determination that have always defined this community. Being here 32 years, I see it each and every day. Leaving is difficult because a part of my heart will always remain here. This is not goodbye in spirit, only in presence. And trust me, I'll be calling to see how things are going. Thank you for the trust, both up here as well as out there in the community that you've placed in me. Thank you for allowing me the privilege of serving alongside each one of you amazing people. And thank you for making Brookings the community that will always hold that special place in my heart. So thank you to everyone.
City Manager, did you have any comments before I make mine?
I'd like to also say a big thank you to Councilor Fulton. Just over the past nearly 2 years, it's gone by very fast, I've grown to really appreciate her input and her compassion for serving, and and the same to her as far as listening and learning, just like myself when I come into this. So, but just want to thank you for your years of service to the school and your years of service to this organization, and you will be missed.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So before we close with a recognition to Councilor Fulton, I wanted to say that I also concur with Councilor Momberg's comments about greater ability to comment within what happens in our corridor where we're legally able. Even as I was going through this, I'm seeing the whole piece about the crossing lights and everything that's dictated by the state. But it does impact our community in huge ways. So where we can have a voice, we should have one. So I also wanted to thank Mr. Frederick for coming and making his comments. Something that you said that I had never considered was the fact that dollars spent have less value now than they did previously. And that does matter, and it's important that we don't let inflation get ahead of us and utilize those dollars as best we can to promote our community. And I'm looking forward to the ideas that are gathered and brought to the council in the next season from TPAC. I'm hoping that, I don't know exactly how all that plays out and what it looks like, but I know other communities, Lincoln City, Seaside, some other larger communities that have big tourism, that their brains would be picked. I've kind of looked a little bit through what they utilize their dollars for and where we've seen them be successful. Maybe we can garner from their wisdom. And yeah, I don't know how the rest of the council feels, but I am more than willing to entertain the conversation about more dollars. If the Wild River had asked for more, I would like to know when we have some events that have received more, I would like to know what criteria that's judged on. I think that's important. I think that we need to make that information available. We need to make it clear and understood, and we need to make sure that everybody has equal access. So I think that would be an important conversation for council to understand, for the public to understand. And so I would appreciate that information coming forward. And I guess with that, we will conclude with a thank you to Councilor Fulton. Councilor Fulton was appointed to the Brookings City Council in November of 2023. Councilor Fulton served on the city's Facade Improvement Committee and is the liaison to the Brookings Harbor School District. And speaking of the school district, Councilor Fulton has worked for the school district for 33 years, dedicating her career to supporting students in and out of the classroom and to their families, I would say. That was one of the most comments that I heard from the parade was, Councilor Fulton, hi. Everybody was excited to see her. She's clearly made a big impact. Over the years, she taught a variety of courses, including PE, wellness, English, and study skills. She also spent time coaching, including 5 years of high school volleyball, 2 years of high school basketball, and 7 years of middle school volleyball and basketball. Beyond the classroom and athletics, Christy has served in many leadership roles, such as the freshman class advisor, the Link crew, Bible study leader, and the Black Student Union. In 2010, she began her transition into school counseling, a role she has continued in ever since. As many of you know, Counselor Fulton is also retiring from the school district and is relocating, as she said, to South Dakota to be near her family. Christy is a dedicated mother to Patrick, Mickey, Sarah, and Michael, and a devoted partner to her husband, Jason. Although tonight is bittersweet, we wish Christy and her family much joy in South Dakota, and we have a small token of appreciation for her time and energy focused on making the city of Brookings a better place to live, work, and play. You'll come on up. It says, in grateful recognition of Christy Fulton for her dedicated volunteer service and lasting contributions to the city of Brookings, 2023 to 2026.
Oh, that is so.
Thank you, Mr. Mundell, for making that happen.
Yes, please, everybody, everybody.
All right, everybody say cheese.
Cheese.
Thank you.
I will give you this.